네이버 무비 토크 시청자 여러분 안녕하십니까? 저는 아나운서 한석준입니다. 여러분 많이 기다리셨죠? 지금 제 옆에 V앱이 깔려 있는데요. 이미 문자로 굉장히 많은 분들께서 왜 안 하냐, 언제 시작하냐를 보내주고 계십니다. 킹스맨 시크릿 에이전트에 이어서 2017년 그들이 킹스맨 골든 서클로 다시 돌아왔습니다. 이 세 분의 주역을 오늘 이 자리에 모셨습니다. 콜린 퍼스, 마크 스트롱 그리고 테런 에저튼 세 분입니다. I'm very happy to have you all here. Thank you for coming and having an interview here. How is Korea and Seoul so far?
Fantastic so far, isn't it?
Absolutely
Having
wonderful.
a great time, good
Lovely.
time.
I've been very, very much looking forward to coming here because the response from this country has been immense, and also Taron was telling us how much he loved being here when he came before as well.
Okay, so it's nice to meet you guys and here. People are thought out that Korea watching live through the via, which is we are all in the internet right now,
Oh, so we're live.
like this, and they're sending me messages already.
Wow.
Great.
Hello.
Hey, hi.
So Kingsman Secret Agent became a major sensation in Korea, and ever since then the Korean audience have eagerly waited for three of you to visit Korea, and now we have you three. Can you feel the excitement and the buzz in the air through the Korean fans?
Certainly, I think
I think I can
when
feel it, yes.
when we arrived, the welcome at the airport was absolutely lovely. Yeah, lots of people who've been waiting a very long time to see us. It's really touching. It's very moving, actually. I feel very flattered and honoured. Thank you.
How about you?
Exactly the same. Mark and I arrived last night, and from the moment we got off the plane, the reception was incredibly warm, very enthusiastic, and I feel in some ways this film belongs to this country. You know, I think it's had the warmest response of any territory in the world, and it's given us a relationship with this place.
Thank you for hearing
I hope it goes
Yeah.
on for a long time.
The response of the fans at the airport was the closest I think we'll ever feel to being a member of the Beatles. What do you think?
Felt a bit like that. Yeah.
There was a
Closest
huge,
I'll
great kind of cry. It was great. It was wonderful.
Who's Ringo?
Who is
That'd be
Ringo?
you,
There's
I think.
one missing. Yeah,
I can join you. So, Clint kept his promises that he said he would come visit Korea 2 years ago, and the Taron that you said you were going to come back with Kingsman, new Kingsman last year.
Well, yeah. Well, I came here to promote Eddie the Eagle early last year, and so many of the people I met here were such kind of die-hard fans of Kingsman: The Secret Service that it would have felt wrong not to come back with this film. So we made a commitment, and here we are.
But since you two said you were going to visit Korea again, so we expected, but for the mark, that we didn't expect that you really going to come to Korea or not. So some people said that I never dreamt in my lifetime that I'll get to see Mark Strong in person.
Wow, well, that's a real compliment. I mean, I'm definitely here, and I can't wait to see people tonight if people are at the red carpet. And that's a real honour. Thank you.
How many people will get to the red carpet do you expect?
I've no idea.
We don't know.
Why? Do you?
Do you know the number?
I don't know too.
Who knows? There's bound to be at least 2 or 3, I would think.
No, that's 2,000 or 3,000 maybe.
Oh, well, that would be amazing.
That's my expectation.
Really?
Or more than that. So, well, let's jump into the right, shall we? So, since the release of A Kingsman Secret Agent, there are 3 things that changed the Korean audience forever. So, let me tell you what they are. The first thing was the phrase, manner makes man. Oh, that was a great.
Really?
That was great.
That's really resonated here, hasn't it?
That was
Yeah.
that was something, really. Manner Makes Man, the scene that the line produces various of parodies in Korea, that we're making a lot of some sentences from the Manner Makes Man. And the question is for Taron, in your opinion, what kind of man is with a true manner?
I suppose somebody who treats other people as he would wish to be treated himself. Somebody, I think, Mark, you said dignity, and I'm going to steal that. I think
Yeah,
that's
I
a
think
good
dignity,
one.
definitely.
Dignity, someone who's dignified, certainly. And yeah, and politeness, I guess. That's maybe.
Yes, I think kindness is
Yeah.
is an essential part of it. Otherwise, manners are empty. You know, if you're polite but you don't have a sincerely kind intention, I don't think it's worth anything.
Wow. Okay. 왜 진심을 담아서 친절해야 된다는 얘기를 해주시고 또 테런께서는 자기 자신이 대접받고 싶은 대로 남을 대접할 수 있는 사람에 대해서 매너가 있는 사람이라는 평을 해주셨는데 굉장히 생각할 만한 포인트가 있다고 느껴집니다. It was well thinking points.
Thank you very much.
It is, surely. So in controlling, how would you characterize someone as having no matter, Mark?
Somebody who has no manners.
No matter. What's your definition for no matter man?
I think an inability to empathise with other people is kind of rude, because you can't put yourself in somebody else's shoes. That's at least what I tell my sons anyway. Manners really are about just understanding that we're all here at the same time, and our job is to be polite and caring at all times. That's what I think of as good manners. It's not just about which knife and fork to use at the table, right, which glass to use to drink. That's another level of manners. But I think in life it's very important that people, try and eliminate envy, greed, aggression, all of those negative aspects, and try and just be positive and give out the vibes that you want to get back.
Thank you very much. So okay, let's go on to the second one. The second thing that changed Korean audience is the line, like a Kingsman. Like me, I want to dress like a Kingsman.
You're doing very well.
I try to.
Absolutely.
Thank you very much. So, after the release of Kingsman: The Secret Service, many men's fashion magazines introduced the suits and the apparels that follows the fashions in the movie. Especially that has been changed a lot of Korean men's fashion, because before the Kingsman Secret Agent, we didn't really really care about the men's how they appeal, how they look, how they dress, those kind of things. But after that movie, that we start to thinking about changing a little part of the suits, a little part of the fashion, will make looks a lot different. That was a big phenomenon in Korea. So it really was a phenomenon especially among the Korean guys. So, Colin, can you share with a little fashion in the Kingsman Golden Circle, and especially if you compare those fashions in Kingsman Golden Circle and the Kingsman Secret Service?
Well, the Kingsman fashion remains the same. I mean, that's the whole point about it being classic, because we have the Kingsman and the Statesman. We have the we now introduced the Americans, whose style is entirely different. But that doesn't mean they don't have a sense of style. It's taking pride in what you're wearing, and this where dignity comes up again. I think in some ways that clothes can make you feel different. They can give you a sense of dignity. They can change the way you walk. They can actually even give you courage in facing the world. I started to really appreciate this when I worked with Tom Ford, and I was playing a role where the character is feeling vulnerable and the suit is like armor. And I think I share that. And there's a line in Kingsman 1, I think, about it's where the modern knights or something and the suit is our armor. And of course in Kingsman it's literally true because it's bulletproof. But I think it feels socially bulletproof as well. You can face the world with dignity and a certain amount of, it's a shared respect. I think that's the other thing about manners, it's shared respect. I think the Americans care just as much about how they look, it's just a different aesthetic.
So you mean it's not only the weaponly bulletproof, but also the social bulletproof?
Yes, there's a sense in which you feel it affects your bearing. It can give you confidence.
Do you want to add anything?
I don't think I could. I think I was beautifully put by.
Thank you very much.
Right,
trained
okay.
him to agree.
So in the movie, not only, as you mentioned about the Statesman, not only Kingsman, but the Statesman also comes up in the second movie, Kingsman, who are based in the U.S. I think the time we dive into the subject between the British and Americans, you probably talk about that among the movie staffs as well. So in the reality, three of you are British, but Channing Tatum and Jeff Bridges and the Statesman people, they are Americans. So is there any cultural difference between British and Americans while you were shooting in the movie?
Well, there are massive cultural differences, obviously, between the two countries. But I
course.
think your point is about when we were shooting. I don't know. Was there?
I didn't feel it. No, I didn't
No,
feel it.
I don't think so.
No.
We're
Very
unified by
superficial.
the fact that we're all actors. And
Yes.
we're all, in front of a camera. So that kind of unifies the cultural differences, takes second place, I think.
We all got along terribly well. They were really excited to be a part of it. They all enjoyed the first one, and we were obviously incredibly excited to have them with us. And it was just a lovely atmosphere and an excitement about creating something a little bit new together. But yeah, it was great fun. It was really great fun.
It was great for us to watch them. I don't know how you guys feel about that, but I've always thought that there's a difference. If there's a difference between American actors and British actors, is we're quite text-based. You know, we come from the theatre, and a lot of our training is about the words on the page. But they come from kind of emotions and feelings, and they're really amazing with props. For example, they're just very used to using. And I watched Jeff Bridges that day. We were all in the Statesman office. Remember, and he did all that stuff, spitting out the whiskey and opening the bottle, and he did it all effortlessly. And I have to say, it was whatever he was saying took second place to the fact that he just had this natural ease with what he was working with. So I think there's a slight difference between British and American actors on that level.
Okay. So we're looking forward to seeing your great style in this movie. Again, I believe that you guys have another new style to show to the fans this time. Is that right?
What's that?
In the dress, way of dress or suits.
We certainly have some new suits. I think the thing about the Kingsman cut, the double-breasted thing, is that it's exactly as beautifully modelled by yourself.
Thank you.
It's a kind of eternal thing. It's a classic thing. It's something that's been that way for a very long time. So it's very similar to what we wore in the first one. But we've got a few new fabrics and things, haven't we?
We have, yeah. Well, you're in a different. You're in orange this time.
Oh, of course. Oh,
Orange
thank you for rescuing me. Sorry, my jet-lagged brain has failed me slightly there. Yes, I do have. I have a tuxedo jacket, a little bit like the one you wear to your dinner with Valentine in the first film.
That's right, velvet.
Yes, velvet tux. But Eggsy has decided to have his made in sort of electric burnt orange.
So very bright orange.
It's very, very bright. But I like it. I think it's quite cool.
You do?
So do you think it's going to catch on here?
I really want to try to buy this.
I'm sure it's available.
I'm sure you can get it, yeah.
I'll think about that. So, do you have any own secret way to wearing your tux or suits with your style, or can you share a little tips to the Korean fans?
I don't know. I mean, in terms of how to... I really don't know.
You don't know?
I don't know. Wearing a suit, you put it on and with any luck it looks good. Colin, do you have it?
No. I think it's up to you, and I think find the one that is the right shape for you. Don't if you look at someone who is completely different physically, don't assume that the same clothes are going to do the same thing. But there are the right things for different people. I honestly think this is find your particular style. I don't think I realized that suits would be my preferred style until I started getting older. I didn't want to wear suits when I was in my 20s at all. And I possibly should have done, because I think I dressed very, very badly.
Well,
you know, I was trying for a different look that didn't suit me. So it's, I think find your own. Yeah, it's not, I think the trend thing can lead you down the wrong path. I think you've just got to find what works for you. I mean, that's not much of a tip.
Sorry to interrupt.
No, go on.
Sorry, I'll give you a couple of sartorial tips,
Thank
if you
you very
like,
much.
that I can think of off the top of my head. One is that your tie should always reach your belt buckle.
Oh, okay.
Shouldn't be above it, shouldn't be below it. It should reach your belt buckle when it's tied.
To the belt buckle.
And another thing that a guy at Kingsman told me, pocket handkerchiefs, always difficult to keep them at the right level. So what he does is he cuts a piece of card that literally fits into your pocket. And you fold your handkerchief over the top of the card so that it'll always stay exactly the right height.
I didn't know that. I've spent hours on this.
There you go. Little piece of card, put it in, and then it'll hold it always in place.
That's very
I'm doing that from today.
There you go. There's a couple of tips for you.
Oh, and do you think that you always have to wear the handkerchiefs?
Not always, but it just gives it a certain kind of extra flavour, I think, if you do.
Okay.
I don't know also what the rule is with single-breasted and double-breasted. I think double-breasted probably...
there might be something missing if you're not wearing one. Do you think in a double breast?
And I don't think you necessarily need one on a single-breasted suit.
You must wear one if you're in black tie. If you're in bow tie,
Okay.
you know, in the black tie, I think you have to, and it must be silk.
Like white color, black and white.
Yes, so if you're in, you know, you're in a black bow tie and you're and a black tux, you really have to have the pocket handkerchief,
Will do, will do.
and it must be silk.
Thank you. And the third and the last line is the new standard for the spy action. This is what you all gonna agree with this. Especially, I think the virtue of the Kingsman series lies in the fact that it completely changed the standard of a spy action, which was established by the 007 series. Is that right? So, the phrase must, what the Korean fans said about this movie when the first one comes out, we call that director must be on drugs to make such a brilliant movie. This is funny, right? But this is, we usually use this term that, oh, someone must be on drug
No, he really is
to
on
make
drugs
this
most of the
movie.
time.
That
Pretty
was
much
really
off
bad.
his head 24 hours a day.
Oh, was it really? So
He
we
must be
especially
to
use
invent
these
that.
terms at the art and entertainment field. That he must be on drug to compose this kind of brilliant music, something like that. So the three of you, having worked in the Kingsman series from the beginning, so you may understand the series more than anybody else. What is the major difference between the previous Kingsman spy action movie and the Kingsman?
More drugs?
Better weapons.
And the Golden Circle, definitely, yes.
Well, I think the change of tone with the statesman, the presence of the statesman, I think that he carries on surprising us, I think. You know, he builds up a sense of expectation based on the things you know, and then I think Matthew Vaughn is continually trying to create surprises. So in some ways I feel like this is turning out to be one big film. I'm hoping there'll be a third one, you know, and that this will all feel like a kind of three-act single drama.
What do you think about that, Taron?
In terms of what's come before, I think with this movie we've just tried to, Matthew Vaughn has tried to recapture some of the things that everyone really connected with in the first film. So there are elements that you'll recognise. There are little scenes which almost resemble some of the scenes from the first film, and it's kind of fun to see those things happen again before your eyes. But it's also bigger in terms of scale and ambition. I think the action is much kind of more plentiful and wilder in moments. So yeah, I don't think anyone's going to be disappointed.
And we have Elton John this time.
And we have Elton John
That's
this
the
time.
main difference.
I think the on drugs reference obviously is not something to be tried by people at home, but I think what you're referring to is the fact that the film is somehow psychedelic, vivid. It's a heightened world. I mean, we talked the other day about colour, you know, how vivid the colours are in the film, and the whole thing is just kind of raised to a level that is just a little more exciting and a little more dangerous and a little more vivid than perhaps real life, which is what other spy movies tend to deal with.
Okay. And do you have ever watched the other spy movies such as the 007 series and try to copy accept some of the parts of it and try not to accept some part of it? Do you ever think about that?
I think in the first film at the end where I sort of I'm playing the kind of English gentleman spy for the first time, I think there's definitely something of it's definitely more Sean Connery, Roger Moore than it is Daniel Craig, for example. I think you know it's got a sort of it's a bit more arch and it's got a sort of raised eyebrow and it's less sort of gritty and stark and austere than Daniel Craig's Bond is. It's a little bit more jolly and fun, I guess.
All right. Okay, so what is the... the next one. Let's go to... This question is for Mark. Can you share with us some new weapons or other elements that really garner the attention of the audience for the Kingsman, the Golden Circle?
Yes, it seems to me that the umbrella, for example, comes into its own in Kingsman: The Golden Circle. It's much more effective, not just as a shield and a gun, but it has kind of video technology, and Colin uses it to great effect in his in a very big fight scene. There's a fantastic piece of kit that Taron uses, which is a briefcase that not only fires missiles, is also a machine gun, and actually is a shield as well with a video screen. I mean, it's incredible. But interestingly, the Statesmen bring new weapons to the film as well. They have baseball hand grenades. They have a baseball bat that's a minesweeper. They in fact have a blue ballistic suit that Channing Tatum does a very affecting dance in, which the capability of that suit is that it's bulletproof, much
That's
like
underwear,
our
isn't
suits.
it?
Yeah,
That's your
Statesman
your
ballistic
bomb-proof
underwear. Because they don't have suits that are bulletproof like we do.
Okay. The spray was impressive
Oh, the
too.
spray, that's true. There's a freezing spray which is used to great effect. There's not much of it in a can, though, is there?
No.
No, I was
Either
really
that or you've been
disappointed
freezing
about
other things before.
You came
that.
very
Mate.
under-equipped there. You've been using it to shave on the plane.
Is it to chill meat or something on the plane?
Practicing freezing somewhere else, yeah.
All right. There are many action scenes in the movie. Actually, the most great scene that was impressive to me was the gondola action.
Oh, wow.
And that part seems like very dangerous to shoot. So can you tell me, this question is for Taron, were there any scenes that was as difficult and dangerous to shoot as it looked in the movie?
No, I don't think they're dangerous to shoot a lot of them. They are, we work in a very safe environment with lots of very responsible professionals who are there to ensure that we're safe. And
We
happy.
get quite easily scared, though, don't we?
We do get quite easily scared at times, yeah. Of course, there's always little accidents. So Ed Holcroft, who plays Charlie in the opening sequence of the film, we have a fight, and he's supposed to use a kind of quite a commonly used technique where you just pass in front of the face you're punching, so it kind of goes like that. But he punched me straight in the nose.
Oh.
So that wasn't a great day. But accidents happen. I also got my
Break
hand.
your nose then.
He didn't break it, but it certainly brought a tear to the eye. And there was another day where I was sat on top of the black cab with my hand over the side, and the door was open, and a crew member came over and slammed the door quite hard on my hand. So I have a kind of purple line over my fingers. So there's always little mishaps, but nothing too bad yet. No broken bones as of yet.
Touch wood.
Touch
That was lucky.
wood.
That was lucky. 그 첫 장면에서 아주 격렬한 격투 씬이 있는데 원래는 주먹이 앞으로 지나갔어야 되는데 코를 쳐가지고 뭐 부러지진 않았지만 굉장히 아팠던 기억이 있다고 또 하네요. 네, 제가 이렇게 좀 길게 설명을 드릴 수가 없어서 정말 죄송합니다. Everyone, including myself, is very excited for this film, and I hope Kingsman: The Golden Circle would be loved by many people. So now it's almost time to wrap up. But you know that we can't finish the interview without taking some questions from the audience. That they're sending us a lot of questions through the V app right now.
Fire away. What have they got to say?
So they picked some of the questions, and the question number one. We're going backwards. So question number one is the last. It's question for Colleen. And the first Kingsman, the umbrella of Harry was very popular. I want to buy the umbrella too. But what is Harry's favorite weapon in the second Kingsman?
I think it's the umbrella. I think I can. I'm open to challenge on this if anyone wants to, but I think it was my idea, and it was partly because I'd never done this sort of work before, the stunt stuff. The closest I'd ever come was swords. I'd done sword fighting at drama school. I'd done sword action in some films in the past, but I'd never really fought with fists. And so I feeling a bit nervous about my inexperience, I said to the stunt team, well, maybe, if there's something old-fashioned that we could use the umbrella a little bit like a sword in a sort of 18th century duel or something. And they liked that idea, so that was then incorporated into it. And so I suppose I felt quite comfortable with all that, with the posture that you can adopt and using a thing like that. Also, it rains a lot in England, so it's handy.
Not heavy rain, but you can only escape from this small umbrella, right? In the London?
A small umbrella.
It's not really heavy rain, is it?
Can be.
We have our moments.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
It's certainly enough for an umbrella.
Yeah.
All right. Second question, even the trailer and the TV ads, we can find various pop songs and classic numbers. So, Mark, do you have any songs that you wish to recommend from this movie?
Recommend from the movie? Well, there's a great soundtrack, I have to say. The use of music in the fight sequences, I think, is really inventive, very clever. But I think your question's leading me to talk about John Denver and the song Country Roads. 'Cause
Exactly.
I have a moment towards the end of the film where Merlin gets to sing, which is a revelation. And it's a song that doesn't require a great deal of singing ability, which I wouldn't say that I have, but I was able to sell it well, I think, and it's a lovely moment in the film, and I was glad to be able to do it. So I'd
think you sing
recommend
well.
that song.
I think you sing well.
Do you?
So do I.
Thank you very much.
Yeah. You have to record the album.
Okay, well, I'm bringing out an album, yeah, and you'll all be on it.
It'll be on the Kingsman soundtrack, I hope.
Oh, next time?
Yeah, I hope so.
Oh,
you know, when
yeah.
you buy the CD or whatever,
Okay,
Mark,
okay.
Mark will go platinum.
There you
I'm
go.
buying one.
Okay,
All right.
thank you.
And the next question, the orange tux, as you said, it wasn't look very dandy. So, what does a suit means to a Kingsman?
I think, as Colin said earlier, I think the line is something like what's something like the world has changed and the Kingsmen are the new knights and their suits are their armor. The Kingsmen, I think, wouldn't be quite what they should be without their armor. So yeah, I think it's a lot of what makes them who they are. It's their identity, I guess. As tailors, yeah.
All right. So it was a very great time to have you here and talk about the movie. Since I'm personally a great fan of the Kingsman, it was very happy time for me. So it has been so for the last time. I want to ask you to say Kingsman, Golden Circle, and 감사합니다. You know what 감사합니다 means? 감사합니다.
감사합니다.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you in Korean. So
What does 감사합니다 mean?
thank you.
Oh.
So to the cameras, Kingsman, Golden Circle, 감사합니다. Can you say that?
Kingsman, Golden Circle, 감사합니다.
Thank you very much. So far, it was Han Seok-jun. It was very nice to have you gentlemen here.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Great to
Thank
be
you.
here.
Thanks for rocking that gorgeous suit.
Yeah, perfect.
Thank you for hearing that.
Thank you.
오늘 정말 멋진 세 분과 함께했습니다. 여러분 여기가 전부가 아니고 잠시 후 7시부터 약 1시간 반 정도 후죠. 롯데월드 타워몰에서 레드카펫 행사가 진행될 예정이니까요. 이 레드카펫 행사에도 여러분 많은 관심 가져주시기 바랍니다. 킹스맨 골든 서클 곧 여러분 찾아갑니다. 기대 많이 해주시기 바라고요. 잠시 후에 저희가 준비한 스페셜한 영상도 나가니까요. 그것까지도 마저 시청해 주시기 바랍니다. 한석준이었습니다. 고맙습니다.
Easy for you to say.